Welcome, welcome. Hey, y'all. Hope all is well this morning. It's actually morning time that I'm actually recording this video. And I am, for those of you who may not be familiar with my face or my voice, I am Dr. Tam. So welcome to Dr. Tam's YouTube channel. I am an empowerment coach. And I have been on social media now for the past few months, not necessarily here very much on YouTube, but that's about to change. I have primarily been on Instagram. And I was actually, a few months ago, I was called to this platform to help empower middle-aged African American women. Now, what I mean by that is that God called me to this space. Yes, I am a Christian woman. Yes, I am a believer. Yes, I am the daughter of the Most High God. And I'm doing what He told me to do. And so that was to create a space, to create a platform where I am able to help support other African American women. And the way that I help them is by helping them to identify, to realize who they really are, to discover their God-given self-worth and their true identity. And so I'm along for the ride. It's been an interesting start out here in these social media streets. But I wanted to formally introduce myself, tell you a little bit about myself so you will know who I am and what exactly it is that I'm doing here on YouTube. And so I am a former educator and a school administrator. And so I transitioned from that space over into this space. Some really great and wonderful experiences on that journey. But I've been shifting. And so in that shift and all of those experiences that I've had, and even in the current shift that I'm going through right now, all of this is actually God is using everything as part of the messaging to help support other women. And I'm going to be very honest. There are some things that have been very challenging for me throughout the journeys, multiple, throughout the transitions, multiple. But I now know, I didn't always know this, but I now know, truly know and believe where the Word of God says that all things work for our good. It has. And it has brought me to this place that before I get too far along to reach back and to help and to support other women who may be experiencing some of the same things that I have. So when I first came on to popped onto the social media scene a few months back, I was primarily on Instagram. And I, began posting positivity, words of encouragement, trying to motivate women, offering just tips and tools and some resources to kind of help them. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, He's called me to this space to talk about these things way back when. Now, yes, some of those things, experiences, the challenges that I have overcome from way back then, they'll more likely come up. But I was quickly reminded that God is doing something in my life right now that I'm experiencing like right now that could help someone else who's going through the same thing like right now. For example, I mentioned multiple transitions. I am in a transitional season right now and have been since about June of 2023. So June 2023, I left or had spoken with my supervisor at the time, and I was like, look, I'm leaving. Because there was this real strong urge, this real strong feeling that God was transitioning, was shifting me. There were definitely some things that were going on at that time in that space where I was actually employed, and plus other things that were kind of happening around me. And so I felt that it was time for me to go. And so had that conversation, and then was sitting down speaking to this person, and they're like, oh, well, can you help do this? Can you help do this? And I'm like, okay. So I ended up coming back for a few months and worked a little bit more to do a few things. And then when it was really time for me to leave, it's like they had me on hold. Like, you can't just leave just yet. I'm like, what? I just stayed to help you, right? Long story short, I eventually was released and got away from that. Lesson learned from that. God had already told me to leave. I had the conversation, but in the conversation talking to man, I was like, oh, well, okay, I will help. I will stay a little bit longer and I will help. But see, here's the thing. In that right there, I was being disobedient because he never told me to stay not a minute longer to help anybody else. That was a me move. That wasn't a God move. And so when it was time when I was like, okay, so now I'm leaving. Now I have myself in a situation where they want to hold on to me. Just be obedient. When you hear his voice the first time, when he tells you to do it the first time, just be obedient. So lesson learned. Another one, just be obedient and do what he tells you to do when he tells you to do it. And so here I am. Finally, I was released. And then immediately the same day that I'm actually released, we actually found out that my mom was going to be going through some health challenges. And so at that point, instead of seeking employment somewhere else, once again, God was like, this is my timing. I'm doing this. And so I chose not to seek immediate employment at that time. So I spent the next few months actually caring for my mom. I left my home, and I basically moved in with my mom. And my mom lives like 2.5 hours away from me. So moved in with my mom to care for her for the next few months. I was obedient that time. You only got to tell me one time. Maybe two. But that time I was obedient and was doing exactly what I was told to do. And so after we got through that with her, everything was going really well. So that I moved back to my home, still not employed. Moved back to my home. Oh, by the way, during that time, I was also completing my doctoral degree. And so I get back to my home. I presented my final study before my committee. It was approved. So now I'm officially Dr. Tamika Latosh Foreman. And so all the things, all the transitions, a whole lot of moving parts in just a short amount of time. So a whole lot of transitions were going on. And there was a couple of things that I took away from those transitions. Number one, obedience. For me, because I am a daughter of the Most High, because I am a believer, because I believe his word, and when his word tells me that I am to be obedient, and that on the other side of obedience are the promises that he has given to me. I know to do as I'm told to do. I know to do as I am called to do. It may seem as though it is the simplest thing. It may seem as though it is the most challenging thing. It was not easy for me to leave my home, pack up all of my things, not like furniture and things like that, but pack up clothes and like take big suitcases and take my laptop. All of those things went along with me. And so, yes, I have space. I have a room at my mama's house, but I was like living out of a suitcase for months. But that was okay. But that was okay. I still had shelter. I had clothing. I had food. I had all the basic necessities. I had what I needed. I needed his word. And his word told me to move and to go and to do what he told me to do. And that's exactly what I did. So, number one, during transition, when you're tuned to him, when you hear from him, move on that word. Do what he tells you to do. Be obedient. During transitions, you have to be flexible. I was no longer able to come to sleep in my bed in the comfort of my own home. I was moving back home. It's kind of like, when you out and you grown and you used to doing you and whatever you want to do, and cause it's you, right? Like you have your own life going on and everything. I had to be flexible. Not only was I obedient, I had to be flexible during that transitional time when all those other things were going on. Schedules that had to be adjusted. Remember, I'm still in school, but I'm my school schedule and my responsibilities are now coincided with her schedule for like doctor's visits and going for tests and exams and all these, treatments and all these different things. Like all of that, I had to be flexible. So whereas I may have been used to getting up, say in my own home at, 7:30 in the morning down there because of the thing when I was living with my mom, because of everything that was going on and the things that I still need to be responsible for, I was getting up at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting up, I'm getting myself taken care of, shower and all shined up and fabulous as ever. I'm doing that early in the morning so then I can jump online to study a little bit more or to do some writing on my dissertation a little bit more. And then after that, I was jumping online for a Zoom call because also during that same time, I'm starting a business. And so I'm learning how to start this business. So I had to be flexible. So I had to be obedient to his word. I had to be flexible during the transitional period. The third most important thing for me that I now know on this side of a transition, I have to rest. I have to rest. There were a lot of moving parts. And I don't just mean rest as in go take a nap or rest that shut everything down and maybe, just take a nice walk or something like that. Those are great things. I'm a huge advocate for self-care, for wellness, loving yourself, taking time for yourself. But when I speak specifically about rest for me now means relying on God. What he told me to do, I'm like, look, you told me to do this. I am relying on you. During this transition, I left my job. I thought I was going to go to look for another job. But instead, you told me to go do something else. So I'm relying on you to take care of me. I'm expecting for you to deliver on your word. Because I'm doing what you're telling me to do, I'm expecting things to be taken care of. I'm expecting to be taken care of during this season. You are my provider. You are my provision maker. You are the promise keeper. I'm keeping your word. I'm doing as you're telling me to do. I'm expecting to be taken care of. I have there is no longer income coming in right now. I have a mortgage. I have utilities. I have credit card payments. I have insurance premiums. I have all these bills that still need to be taken care of. I'm expecting for you. I'm leaning on you. I'm expecting for you to deliver. And because I now know who I am, part of that rest is speaking over myself to remind myself of who exactly I am. I am your daughter. I am royalty. I am the daughter of the Most High. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am precious in your sight. I am honored. I am loved. I have to speak over myself because I was used to working, doing, providing for myself, taking care of things. That's who I was. That's who I've always been. But now I'm in a season where I don't have this regular income coming in anymore. I'm not able to do as I once was able to do. But even regardless of that, I have to speak over myself because the enemy will very quickly sneak in. Like, you ain't got no job. You got all these bills. See? Told you weren't worth nothing. You ain't. All of this time you thought you were all of that. Now look at you. Now look at you. Those thoughts came. Those thoughts were real. Those thoughts were very real. And they came often. And every time one of them will come up, I have to grab hold of it. Oh, no, no, no. You not finna set up shop in my mind. You not finna try to penetrate my heart. You not finna try to have me disbelieving who my Father has already said who I am. You not finna do that. Not today. And those had to be regular, frequent conversations, me arresting those negative thoughts, that inner critic who wanted to tell me that I was worthless, who wanted to tell me that just because I'm not out here getting up, punching a clock somewhere, or I'm not driving to a school campus, or I'm not working for a district, I'm not doing what I used to do, I'm not moving the way I used to do. He's now showing up telling me, now look at you. Every single time those thoughts came up, I had to arrest it and stop it. Not today. I can't think of that. I can't let those thoughts get in here. I can't let those thoughts settle in here. It's about the heart. It's about my mind. My heart and my mind, they have to be in agreement with one another. What I speak out of my mouth, the words that come out of my mouth from my mind, I have to believe that in my heart. And right now, I'm choosing to believe who the Word of God has already said who I am. I may not have this amount of money no longer coming in right now. But see, that was never my value to begin with. That's not who that wasn't my value. The amount that was deposited in my checking account every single month, that wasn't my value. He gave me my value. He told me from the very beginning that I was his masterpiece, a masterpiece, priceless, no money value great enough, is equivalent to what my value truly is, what he has already placed inside of me. These are the things that I have to speak over myself. And I have part of that rest. I have to know and believe that everything is happening according to his time. Everything is happening according to his time. So during this transitional season, right now, in the moment, what I am going through and what I'm experiencing in this moment right now, I hope that this blesses someone. I hope that if God is convicting you, if God is telling you, it's your time, get up, my daughter. I need you to go do this. I need you to be who I have called you to be. Be obedient. Do it. I didn't have any clue about being an empowerment coach. I have skills. I'm very competent and I'm very qualified. I know that now. There are things that I have learned along the way and I've added to my tool belt. But I sought resources. I went out there. So for things that I didn't know how to do, I found someone or something that taught me how to do it. Because the word was just to go and do. But he provided, opened up doors, opportunities came because I was obedient. Because I was obedient. And during that obedience, I had to be flexible. I'm still managing and taking care of things. It just looks different than the way it used to. So no longer am I only responsible for myself. I'm now responsible in taking care of my mama. I had to be flexible. I had to be flexible with my time. I had to be flexible with my schedule. There was a lot of moving pieces. You have to be flexible. Can't be so rigid. And that was me. I was like, I'm doing this, 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 this. Nope, that's not a part of it. Can't do that. That changed quickly. I had to be flexible. And thirdly, I had to learn what true rest was. Relying on God, expecting for him to deliver on his word. Speaking life, health, wellness over myself. Those are my daily affirmations. Reminding myself who I am and timing. Knowing that everything is happening according to his timing. So that's who I am. That's who I am, Dr. Tam. And again, I have been called to this space. Right now, I'm recording this video actually from my living room, and out here in this other space around and about, it's all kind of stuff that's happening, all kind of transformations that's even happening within my home. Every part of my life right now, he's doing great things. He's doing wonderful things, not only in my life, but even in those who are around me. I know that he's doing great things in your life, and he's calling you to do more. He's calling you to be who he has created you to be. And it's within you, just like it was in me. I didn't think that it was because I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know how to do it. But I'm walking it out. And as I continue to step and make these steps and moving forward with what he has called me to do, every single step is like a light. And y'all, stand in his word, staying in his word, studying, learning more about him. The more I learn about him, the more I learn about myself. It is super important. It is super important. That's me. That's Dr. Tam. and I am here to support you. I am being called to show up more here in this space, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I hope that everything that you all are doing well. I love you, my sister. I love you. It was a strong urge for me to jump on here this morning to do this, and so I got it done. I had all kind of stuff happening, but we got it done. It's out here now. You know who I am, and you'll definitely be seeing more of me. So until next time, I love you, toodles, and take care.